Welcome Libra to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 3rd of June for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now is your event chart at the start of the week, which provides some very important pointers, not least the location of your ruler Venus. Venus is going to join up with the Sun on Tuesday in a Cazimi, which is going to explode so much radiance into the natural qualities of Venus in house 9, which really is going to give you a lot of desire, which is Venus is of a quality apart from relating, your desire to expand your horizons. If you've yet to book a holiday or a vacation, the chances are you will over the next month. And it's important to understand that Venus is going to be influential in this week's new moon as well. So anything to do with creating greater variety and spontaneity in your world, and the conversations around that are going to bring you to life, make you feel excited. And what helps the process is that Mercury, the planet which governs Gemini, moves into the sign on Monday and merges with the planet of fortune, Jupiter, which in turn is forging a once-in-a-lifetime link to Pluto in your sister air sign of Aquarius. A lot of air energy, so that's a lot about thinking, talking, interacting, sharing ideas. But if you are in a relationship which is not working so well for you, what does this week hold? Well, I feel the 9th house can be about where we seek the higher truth of a situation. And because your natural way is often to be quite diplomatic in your approach, you can still use that quality to tease into the open how someone feels. And it doesn't have to necessarily be only in a romantic relationship. It could be around a professional one, because by Thursday, the new moon squares up to Saturn. Saturn in your sector of obligations, of work, of limitations when it comes to your physical vitality. And if you have been feeling a little bit run down at times over the last 12 months, not really a surprise. So one of the things you may be seeking to do with this week's events is liberate yourself from something that's become too heavy, too demanding and too draining, but also where all the input that you've invested is not really giving you much sense of appreciation. So you could find yourself being a bit more rebellious, and that may mean leaving something that doesn't seem to give you much option to be a free spirit. So the 9th house is where we can be independent. It can be about where we can be adventurous. Just because Venus is in there doesn't mean to say that this week's events are going to feature on a romantic relationship. And Venus is also about money. So it could be that you're thinking about money in terms of a foreign property or shares in a foreign company. So do think outside the box. That's the big theme of this week for you. But most of all, to use your skillful relating abilities in a way which can tease into the open what's best for all concerned. But I definitely think that Saturn is something that you need to be mindful of. It's great to be dedicated. Neptune has been in your 6th house since 2012, and I feel that you've really poured a lot of effort into being very dedicated, reliable, very sincere, and a person who's really been a stalwart. But sometimes it can get to the point where we can't really pour from an empty jar, and I feel that you're really in the mood for some kind of change, some kind of big shift, and most of all to just feel freer. So feeling freer around a relationship doesn't necessarily mean not being in the relationship. It means pursuing your own interests, which can create oxygen in the relationship, especially with all this air. If you are single and you'd like to meet someone, getting out and about and interacting with people through different groups or interests or higher education can be a very smart way to activate more spark and stimulation in your world. But I really feel generally that this is a week to use your diplomacy, but to find a way to live your life much more on your terms and just create a lot more sense of freedom. And then, as the week draws to a close, Mars moves out of your 7th house, where it's been urging you to set your boundaries, and moves into house 8. If there is someone that you're finding to be very enticing and very fascinating, and you're really enjoying being with them, things can get seriously steamy in the following 6 weeks. It's been a pleasure being with you, Libra. Have a great week, and if you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now to help it grow.